Get ready with me while I tell you some of the worst stories I've heard from students when it came to board studying of crazy things that happened to them. This is in no particular order. I just wanted you to know if you had a crazy story like this happen to you as you were trying to study and it wasn't working for you, you are not alone. The first stories I heard from people were about professors and the horrifying things that they did while they were trying to study. One of the number one things that a student talked to me about while they were studying, absolutely abysmal thing that this professor did, was they were taking a practice test and the professor came behind them while they were taking the test. And like, when they selected an answer, they're just like, wow, I really can't believe you would select something like that. Or they made some sort of snarky comment that was just like, there's like, maybe not today. Maybe it's not your time. Like some really bitchy comment to them. I was like, a professor, somebody who's trying to help you succeed. As a teacher, I would never do that. That is wild. And this is why people get afraid of their tests and don't want to take it. It's because of professors like that. The next thing also involves professors. Was a student told me that their professor would not let them take any exams outside of the content that they created for them. And they said they wouldn't let them take PEAT exams, they wouldn't let them take score builders exams or any other prep course. And they had worked with this professor for 2 or 3 exam cycles at this point. And the professor, they weren't passing. And they were like, why am I still listening to this person? I'm like, dude, it's your life, it's your money. You don't have to keep doing that. You don't have to do what your professors are telling you to do with this test. The important thing is that you find what works for you and you roll with it. Even if I tell you to do something, you're like, Bree, I have tried that. I've tried it every up way and wahoo, and it does not work for me. Then don't do it. You know what works for you. So that was just wild. Whatever, you need to take a PEAT exam. Your professors, they want to help you. And even if you have a professor that has a history of, writing for the board's questions previously, they don't know if they accepted their board questions that they wrote. Do you know how many people write board questions? Thousands and thousands of people. That's how you end up with the practice PEAT, which is a version of those test questions that were submitted that didn't make the cut, but were still pretty decent. So think of the B tier or JV team kind of thing. That's the practice PEAT. And then obviously varsity is what made the retired PEAT. But their questions might have not been answered or selected, sorry. And they threw them out. They might be not as good as you think you are. And if you're a professor and you're listening to this, I'm not trying to shade you. Obviously, you're in your position because you're smart at something and you know what you're talking about. The board just might not like the way you write questions. And that's okay. The way you write questions for your students still can help them. So, again, bean soup theory. If it fits, it applies to you. If you're like, I don't do that, I'm very happy to hear that. Most PTA educators care about their students' success. There's some mean ones out there, though, that are pretty toxic, and I've experienced it. I won't say where I experienced it, or if it was directly someone teaching me, or if it was just someone I interacted with, but I've seen it firsthand. Not fun. Sorry if you've been treated that way. The last thing that a student told me that their professor told them was if you're tired in the middle of the practice test, you can just take a break and walk away. You can't do that during the actual exam. You can't. So don't do that. Do not do that. Make sure you're actually, taking your exam the way that you're supposed to in test-taking conditions. There is no excuse. You have to take it in test-taking conditions if you want to see if you're, the way you're taking your test, you're actually ready for the test. So that's one of the biggest things that I saw. One other thing I forgot to mention, if you're looking for some exam advice, I am more than happy to give it to you. If you want to hop on a one-on-one call, just go to my Instagram and DM me the word strategy. If you DM me on TikTok, unfortunately, it doesn't let you do that, which is kind of annoying. But Instagram, if you DM me the word strategy, I will help you out. Even if you go to my website and go to my contact section, you'll be able to book a call with me and I'll be able to help you. But on Sunday, oh my gosh, guys, Sunday, so I'm going to be hosting my masterclass webinar. Definitely come. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's free. It's recorded if you can't make it live. And I'll be covering a ton of topics that are likely to show up on the MPTE. So, no, I'm not going to be covering, sorry, let me rephrase that. At the masterclass, I'm going to be covering a bunch of mistakes students make while they're studying and things that they definitely need to do differently, and be giving a ton of advice. I know I've been giving a ton of advice over social media the last couple days, but I just want to let you know, you want the full shebang of all the things that I mainly tell students to make sure that they're good to go, and things I teach students who work directly with me in my coaching programs that I tell them, come to the masterclass. It's going to be super valuable. I have students who take one thing that they learn from it and they run with it and they increase their score by like 50 points. So it'll be worth your time. Thank you for listening. Farewell.
The link is in my link in bio.